Hello and welcome to the A Squared J Squared podcast, the inaugural edition. I am one of your four hosts here. I am James White. To my left on the screen, you have Andrew Hill. To my top left, you have Austin Curtis, and right above me, you have Jordan Eisen. We are your tour guides here on what is sure to be your favorite sports podcast.
You are now listening to the Sporadic Sports Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Sporadic Sports Podcast. Yes, we have changed our name, we have changed our logo, we have rebranded. Now, we don't want to stray too far away from what we have been doing. At the end of the day, that is what we want to do. However, we do realize that our posts have been sporadic. Sometimes our topics can be sporadic, whether it be different sports or mixing in something weird like masketology or talking about music. But we want to be more consistent. So, you're looking at a more free-form podcast here. Our other two former regular members of Austin and Andrew, we do anticipate them being a big part of this podcast too, but they can't be here. But we're going to let it roll.
Yeah, I mean, it's just going to be like a sneak peek into like what we talk about literally on a daily basis, just talking sports. Whatever comes to the top of your mind and however you're feeling about certain things, popular topics, whatever. That's the way I see it going. Everything that we had going on beforehand was pretty uniform. It was like, we're going to talk about this, we're going to talk about this, we're going to talk about this. I kind of like the idea of just saying, you know what, whatever comes to your mind, let's just say it and let's just roll with it.
Yeah, I think obviously A Squared J Squared podcast was great with the sports and everything, but I felt like sometimes you guys kind of got trapped in a box about what you did have to talk about and what you had to get through. And then it was one of those things where if you had gotten a week behind recording, well, then the topics that you guys had were no longer relevant. So then it was like, there's no point to film this episode. Or it was one of those things. So I think with this one being less focused on specifics and more being, sporadic about the topics that you want to talk to, I think we'll also open, all of us up to kind of talk more about things that maybe we're passionate about, but we wouldn't have talked about in the last podcast.
Yeah, just like Jared and F1, that might come up.
If we talk about F1, I will never record this podcast or edit another one a day in my life.
No, I hate F1. It's lame.
That will be the end of this podcast. To get us started,
I just want to do this. Let's go blind resume here. Yeah, let's go blind resume here. I want you to, and Jared, I know you don't give a crap about baseball.
No.
But I'm going to give you two players' stats. And I want you to tell me which player you would rather have, okay? Player number one has a .252 batting average. He has 3 home runs.
Okay.
And he has 10 RBIs, okay? Player number two has a .234 batting average, but 6 home runs and 27 RBIs. Which player are you taking?
The RBIs, that runs win games. You know what I mean? So I'm going with the more RBIs. Honestly, the batting average is what, .20 difference. At this point in the season, it's not going to be that big of a. That's not that big of a difference. So I would go player number two.
I gotta agree here. You got to go with the RBIs. RBIs win you games. Batting average. I mean, like Jordan said, at this point in the season, it's going to change. So
I would almost bet money with the stats that you just told me that the player number two, his batting average with runners in scoring position is better than player number one with runners in scoring position.
Are either of them on the juice?
Well, I can tell you. No.
Okay.
I can tell you that player number two's OPS is better than player number one's. Player number one, would you like to guess who that might?
Okay, so it sounds like someone who's disappointing. I've heard of. I haven't really followed baseball outside the Dodgers too much, so I kind of want to I'm leaning a little bit towards Corbin Carroll. I know he's had a really, really bad start to the season. I mean, besides that, I'm trying to think of other players who have really just kind of sucked that are big name players. Because I don't think he would have gone out to hate on Corbin Carroll, to be honest. So I don't think it's him. Um, I don't know. National League, American League, which one?
He is in the National League.
Ronald Acuna?
Who do I hate?
Ronald
It is
Acuna?
Ronald Acuna.
Okay, I knew he
Ronald
struggled
Acuna
too.
Jr.
Yeah.
Player number 2 is Brandon Nimmo, who played hero last night against the Braves. Come off the bench. He got hurt on Saturday. They were afraid that he was going to be out for a while. It turns out it wasn't so bad. He came in and subbed and hit a walk-off 2-run home run. Brandon Nimmo has been tearing the cover off the baseball. He just doesn't get.
My question is, how do the Mets have the same amount of wins as the Oakland Athletics right now? I mean,
The Oakland Athletics are overachieving.
they are. I mean, it's going to fall off,
gonna,
but it's like, wow, they're literally third in the AL West
Yeah.
right now.
Are they
which is
still
crazy.
giving away
I
free
feel like-
tickets to go see the Athletics?
Probably
Are they
because they're
still
moving.
doing that?
Probably. Well, I feel like at this point in time, the A's are really just playing with like hate in their heart, and they're just being
Dude, you got a chip on your
vengeful,
you got a chip on your shoulder.
like because they hate the situation. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
So like they've definitely overachieved.
I mean, you know how much I
The
love
Mets
to see
are doing
Ronald.
exactly what I thought they'd do.
You know I love to see Ronald Acuna struggling. I know there's going to be a lot of Braves fans that probably watch this, but like I'm a Dodgers fan, and so I mean I have respect for the Braves because I do feel like they're the second best team in the National League. All the Phillies fans are now going to hate me for saying that, but I mean I just love to see that because I've always like looked at him. People compare him and Mookie Betts a lot because they're always right there in the MVP conversation. James, tell me who you'd rather have on the Mets, Ronald Acuna or Mookie Betts?
Definitely Mookie Betts.
It's easy. He's too consistent.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, he's a better player. Call me
He's
out
also-
for it. Yeah.
He's also from Nashville too, so Tennessee boy. We
He's
love
also a better
Mookie Betts.
person in general. He's a great guy.
Yeah, well, at least Acuna's a better guy than Marcell Ozuna, but we'll
That's not saying
Austin.
much.
We'll let Austin rant about that.
Yeah,
I
that's
was
not
watching
saying-
I was watching that game last night, the Mets and Braves game last night with my nephew, and Ozuna came up to hit, and he was like, "He's big," and I was like, "He's a terrible person." He was like,
He is.
"Why?" And I said, "I'm not going to tell you, but I'll tell you when you get older. He's a bad guy." He's like, "Okay, we don't like him."
Yeah, no, we don't like him at all. We don't
That
like
was
him. So, all right, tell me how you feel about the Mets right now. Like 40 games in. I think they're 40 games in. They're
How about those Mets?
I mean, how do you feel about them? What grade would you give them from your expectations at the start of the season?
I mean, a C. I feel like they're doing exactly what you would anticipate they do. I mean, they're not horrid, but they're not good. They're middling. They're like 19 and 20. They were beating the Phillies 2-1 whenever we started. I don't know what the score is now, but I mean, they're middling, but they're not horrendous, which they were last year.
They're up
And
3-1.
people see the big payroll. They're up 3-1 now. Okay. So people see the big payroll, like Austin loves to throw that in my face. Look at y'all's payroll against the Brewers, blah, blah, blah. But like most of that payroll, sadly, is going to players that we traded away last year. So it's not even the players on our roster. I mean, we're doing it with guys like DJ Stewart. We just called up Christian Scott, I'm very excited about him. He's a young prospect pitcher. His first start, they gave him the Jacob deGrom treatment. He allowed 1 run, and they scored 1 run, and then they lost after he came out. He struggled a little bit against the Braves on Saturday, but I anticipate him being a pretty good player in our rotation moving forward. We haven't had Kodai Senga. Pete Alonso has been very up and down. Francisco Lindor started off dismally. He's come on stronger lately. Had a couple of hits last night. Nemo's been good. We're without Francisco Alvarez. He got hurt in the Dodgers series. So
What are you gonna do?
exactly what I expect.
The thing about the Mets though that really like stands out to me when I looked at their stats is their plus minus is +1, which kind of leans you towards the fact that they are actually better than their record suggests. Because you look at like what we were talking about, the Oakland A's, they're 19 and 23. The Mets are 19 and 20. And they're minus 32. So which direction are they going to go? Numbers tell you they're going to get worse. Numbers tell you the Mets are actually a little bit better than what the record suggests. So,
That's not the same. Yeah. I mean, can we sneak into a wild card position? Maybe. They're both been up and down. Our ERA was really good for a while, and then it wasn't really good. And we go through these periods of time when we can't score. But I mean, I don't think the Mets are a bad team. I just think that they're your team, the Dodgers. How are they meeting your expectations?
I mean, honestly, I don't even think they're meeting my expectations, which is bad to say because they're 27-15 with the best run differential in baseball. But like, I figured it might take them a little bit of time to mesh. That top of the order is so strong. The bottom of the order has been a little bit weak. We got Andy Pajes. I don't know if you've seen him. He's a rookie,
Mhm.
and he's probably going to win Rookie of the Year. Like, dude's been outstanding. He's batting near 300. He has like 9 home runs. Shohei's been everything you thought he would be. Mookie's been more than everything you thought he would be. Freddie Freeman, I think, has been pretty good, just exactly what you thought. So once the pitchers start to get healthy, I mean, we got Buehler back. Still waiting for Kershaw. Glasnow's been good. So, I mean, I would probably say like a B, but they're just not meeting quite the expectations because when you have a roster like that, you expect them to be sitting at like 38-2, honestly.
Yeah.
But it's baseball. It's
So
early.
when you go, yeah, I mean that's the thing about baseball. Anybody can win, but like when you spend that much money in the offseason, you expect like otherworldly numbers. But they're arguably the best team in baseball right now. The only team that you could even compare to them right now is the Phillies, and I don't think that's sustainable.
Yeah, I don't.
So
Maybe they're
we'll
a pretty
see.
good team. I
But
think Baltimore's really the. If I had to go like top two to win a World Series right now, I'm going Dodgers. I'm going Orioles. Honestly, just because the Orioles have
the
the
only
whole
thing about the
package.
Orioles, yeah, the only thing about them is they're so young. So like
Mhm.
we saw it last year when they got into the playoffs that that bit them in the butt. But
Yeah, I mean,
everybody would like to see the Orioles be successful. It's
I mean,
random.
as long as they finish above the Yankees, that's fine, right?
Hmm.
So,
Yeah,
yeah. I
yeah,
mean,
for sure.
baseball season's a long season. It's actually hard to it's hard to watch games. I mean, I love watching a baseball game, but it's hard to watch it this early in the season because you get emotionally invested into it. And then you have to sit back and tell yourself, this game doesn't really matter that much in the grand scheme of things because there's 162 games, so it's hard to kind of get into it until very late in the season. So,
Yeah, yeah. Once playoff time rolls around, then you can get really excited. If you're like me, your team's not there, but you
yeah,
can
if
get
you're like
excited for
me,
other
then your
people's
team's
fan
going to be
bases, I
awesome
guess.
all season
Um,
long and then lose. So,
yeah, yeah.
Austin
Well,
feels beyond that.
transitioning a little bit. Well, yeah, that's the Brewers' calling card. Transitioning a little bit though, your first NFL draft as a Ravens fan, how did it go?
I mean, it was fine. Like I know they needed help at the cornerback position. They lost a couple pieces on the defensive side, including Patrick Queen, which I think we're going to talk about, but I don't really want to talk about because it hurts a lot. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't really like the pick, Nate Wiggins from Clemson. I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
think there were better corners on the board. And actually, like watching his game field, the dude is like 6'1", 190. He's like my size. I'm like, I mean, this dude's skinny. And I mean, he's a ball hawk. He's fast, but it's like, are you going to be able to make the tackles on the outside? And it really kind of threw me for a loop because I'm like, the Ravens normally like to get some bigger corners. Like you think back in the day of Chris McAllister, like he's one of my like he was built like Marlon Humphrey. Now they have Marlon Humphrey out there. They like the bigger corners that can make tackles, so they can play man-to-man defense and they can make a one-on-one tackle with a wide receiver. Then you draft a guy that's 6'1", 190, and you're just like, what? That doesn't match the style that this team is. So I actually really didn't like that pick. Um, I did like the pick of the receiver from North Carolina, Walker. Was that his name?
As
Yeah,
Walker.
Tez Walker. Yeah, I like that pick. I mean, I just think it was pretty straightforward. I don't think the Ravens really need much help because they got Derrick Henry. Their defense is going to be good even without Patrick Queen. Um, so I don't know, average, but nothing really outstanding. No big jumps like what the Eagles probably made in your mind? Because I know you were thrilled. I was with you the night of the first round, or we were together on this. So, how do you feel about the Eagles and their draft then?
Well, first of all, obviously, I was very, very pleased to see Quinyon Mitchell drop as far as he did. Definitely did not expect that to happen. We really had our pick of the litter of corners. And that night, you were like giving me a hard time. Y'all are going to take Cooper DeJean. Y'all are going to take Cooper DeJean, and I was like, I don't want to take him here because Mitchell and Arnold are available.
Because you're just going to get him in the second round.
But trading up in the second round, trading up in the second round to get him at 40 when he's like a first round talent,
Yeah.
I think that was a home run.
It's a steal.
And then also, I think, Anais Smith is going to be a really nice addition. I think that he'll be a sneaky addition to our wide receiver room. He's fast. He is better than Quez Watkins, who is no longer with us anymore. And just for fans who have been around for a really long time, the one that all of the Eagles fan base wanted was the Jeremiah Trotter Jr. pick.
Mm-hmm.
Bringing home the son of the Axeman returning, wearing 54, wearing the same number, all the pictures of him in his dad's jersey back in the day. There was the phone call with Jeffrey Lurie, the owner of the Eagles, with Jeremiah Jr. And he said, I love your dad, and I thought a lot of your mom. And if you know anything about that, that a couple of years ago, Jeremiah Trotter Jr.'s mom died of breast cancer.
Mm.
So you could see that it meant a lot. It was more than football, being able to keep that family aspect in the organization. So I was pleased. Hopefully it's not just good on paper, because it was good on paper last year and it really didn't come to fruition except for Jalen Carter. So we'll see. But I'm cautiously optimistic.
Yeah, I mean, that's really all you can ask for in a draft. You're just drafting literal rookies. I mean, they can end up being Tom Brady, who was drafted in the 6th round, or they can end up being Jamarcus Russell, the 1st overall pick. So you just don't know what you're getting, So, I mean, but that's the good thing about a draft, is you just don't know what you're getting, but it gives you that little glimmer of excitement of, man, what if this guy really is everything that he can be? And I was shocked to see the Eagles get Cooper DeJean in the 2nd round. Like, I really was, because I was not watching the draft. I don't watch it after day one. And I was just like, I got that notification. I was like, I bet James is happy right now, because I know you didn't want him in the 1st round, and I know you didn't expect to get him in the 2nd round. So,
no,
just kind of worked out.
I feel like he fits the system well too, because he's a guy that can play like nickel. He can play outside. He can play safety. So, and you're bringing him into a system that has just brought back Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, who has the same skill set. So he's got a guy like that he can learn under. I think he's in the perfect situation, and I think we've really bolstered our secondary, and I think James Bradbury's days are numbered in Philadelphia.
Yeah. I mean, speaking of football, though, I guess we got the news. Was it today? The opening game is going to be the Chiefs and the Ravens in Kansas City.
Yep.
I can't wait. Like, you did it right, NFL. Like, last year I was excited because it was the Chiefs and the Lions, and the Lions had all this hope of being a really good team. We know that the Chiefs and the Ravens, they might be the 2 best teams in the NFL. They might be. 49ers, sure. Eagles, maybe. Lions, maybe. But, they might be the 2 best teams in the NFL, and it's going to be a hell of a game, and I can't freaking wait.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's a home run. Great way to start the year. People are going to be tuning in. Also getting the news that the Browns and the Cowboys will play week 1, and that'll be Tom Brady's first game announcing. So that'll be very interesting to see that side of TV12.
Is that a 4:25 Sunday game or something?
I think so.
Probably.
I think so.
Do you know who he's with?
So I wouldn't.
Who's his?
I think they're putting him in. Whoever Greg Olson was with. I don't remember. They called the Super Bowl not this past year, but when the Eagles were in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he replaced Greg Olson.
And then also speaking of the
Eagles,
Eagles,
which is unfortunate because Greg Olson's really good at his job.
How do you feel about the Eagles going to Brazil to face Gary's Packers?
Yeah. It'll be interesting. I mean, it's being played on a Friday night, which kind of sucks because I'll be coaching a high school football game. So I will miss that game. Most of it at the very least, but it'll be something different. It'll be exciting. I'm fine with it. I'll be keeping up with it momentarily. But if we start the year good, awesome. If we start the year terrible, I didn't have to watch it. So,
is it true that Mike Tyson and Jake Paul are fighting? Jared, you might know that. I don't know.
They are.
What was the?
They are.
Mike Tyson and Jake Paul.
Well, that's been talked about for a while now, and I don't know if it's actually coming true or not, but to be honest with you, I can't really get hyped and get behind these Mike Tyson and Jake Paul or Logan Paul boxing matches. I can't really sell into them, if that makes sense, because at the end of the day, more than anything with those kind of fights, it's such a money grab,
Money thing,
and
yeah.
like I could give a
Mhm.
crap less. Like if you're Jake Paul and you're trying to be taken serious as a boxer, like why are you fighting Mike
Are you fighting the
Tyson?
top? Yeah,
Like,
that doesn't make any sense.
like don't get me wrong, tons and tons and tons of respect for Mike Tyson, right? But
Always.
he's 50 years old or 40 something years old now. He's
at
been
least 50, right?
he's been doing psychedelics.
He's mid-50s.
He's been
He's
doing
57.
he's been doing psychedelics for the better part of 4 or 5 years now. I don't
Yeah.
think that's the guy that you go and fight and then claim fame that you're this, great boxer. It doesn't
Well, yeah, I
really.
mean, even if you win the fight, it's like, yeah, Mike Tyson's 57 years old, so like,
Well, it's like, yeah,
Mhm.
that's cool. You beat Mike Tyson, but like the guy hasn't been taken serious as a boxer for years. Like
yeah,
that's like me like beating Tiger Woods in a golf tournament right after his car crash and then being like, "That's right,
yeah,
that's right, I beat
Yeah.
Tiger Woods," and it's like, well, he's on crutches. Of course you beat Tiger Woods. It's like, you know what I mean? It doesn't. There's a really big disconnect there, and I those fights are just not interesting to me. Plus, they're like $400 for pay-per-view.
I think it's on Netflix, dude.
It's free. It's free
I
on
think
Netflix.
it's on Netflix.
I will tell both of you
It
this
is.
right now. Mark my words. I will not be tuning in. I just don't care because at
What
the
if
end
we're
of
all
the
together? What if we're all together? then?
maybe we can
I'll watch it.
do a watch
I'll watch
along. Let's
Yeah,
do
dude.
for Sporadic Pod. Let's do a watch along. One of us will stream it, and I'll record us reacting to the fight, and we can upload just us like watching along to the fight.
Or we could just go live on IG.
Yeah, it could go live on Instagram as well. It's one of those things like, at the end of the day, what did you prove by beating Mike Tyson? And
Yeah.
now, granted, I've seen some
No.
videos of Mike Tyson ripping some
Dude.
body shots, and he looks monstrous.
Dude.
But
I think Mike Tyson might kick the kid's butt.
I don't think he will. I think what'll happen is it'll be a close fight. Tyson will go down, or it'll go to decision because Jake Paul has paid Mike Tyson millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars to be on this stupid, thing with him and have a fake beef, and then he'll take a fall in, round 10, and it'll be done. And people will be like, "Drink
like,
prime,
cutting up and laughing.
drink prime."
It was like the weigh-in thing. They were like
That's
cutting
the
up and
other
laughing
one.
with each other. So it's like, there's no beef there. You guys are just buddies trying to make some cinema.
Yeah, I think again, and that's cool, but I don't take it as a serious boxing fight. It feels like WWE to me.
I think that's
Yeah,
fair.
I'll watch it just in case Mike Tyson does punch his head off his shoulders.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Exactly.
Because,
I don't see it happening.
We're all gonna kind of.
I definitely want to see that.
Oh yeah,
But like you said, there's no winning if you're Jake Paul, because if you beat him, you beat up a 57-year-old man, and if you lose, you lost to a 57-year-old man.
Yeah.
So
it
I don't get it. I mean,
it doesn't help
It's-
or hurt your boxing career at all, no matter you win or lose.
It's
It's
just money.
It's all
just
it
money.
is.
Like
Yeah.
you said, it's just money, and that's fine as long as someone gets their head kicked off, like you were saying,
It's-
James.
it's-
Just knock his head off, and
Yeah.
we'll all be entertained.
it's
Live
fine.
on Netflix.
It's fine that it's all for money, but
when is that fight?
I don't know.
July 20th, Saturday, July 20th. I will be
Okay.
at James's house.
Yeah, no, for sure, because the day before is when NCAA 25 comes out, so you will definitely be at
I
mine.
will be here. Jared will be there as well. Saturday night.
Jared has to
You
make
might-
sure
yeah.
he's not working.
Yes, you can come. You can come over.
I'll play golf
It's a
with you the
Saturday.
next
You
morning,
might be
Jared.
shooting a wedding, but you know the
July
fight won't happen
20th.
until late.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have
Uh-huh.
a wedding that day.
But the fight will be late, so just come
Dude,
over.
it'll
at-
be at like midnight.
It
Like,
is-
it's gonna be.
What all of this is depending on everything, but we have time to figure it out. But if
Sure.
if everything works out, yeah, I think it would be interesting for us to watch and like film it somehow so we can have a watch along and then upload the fact that we were all like either blown away that Mike Tyson's 60-year-old self come out there and punched Jake Paul's head off, or I don't know. I just think they're going to hug the whole time. I think there'll be a couple of big shots. There'll be a couple of big moments, and everybody will be like, holy crap, like, that was cool. And then they're going to do this the rest of the time. And they're going to
I mean, in most cases, when they hype a fight up like this, it's kind of like it just doesn't end up like a great fight.
The last time that I got hyped up for a fight was Sugar Sean, and I cannot remember the other dude. But there was an eye poke that happened in the first round, and they called the fight. And I was so annoyed because I had waited all night to watch the fight.
Well, Jordan and I watched the Pacquiao-Mayweather fight together, kinda.
I don't know if you can say we watched it. No, we watched it. We did. We did watch it. Indeed,
we watched it. I don't know how much we took in, but we watched
a little funny, but we did watch it.
Again, no, we did not.
All I have to say,
we avoided that.
All I have to say is any of those big like internet celebrity fights, they're all bullcrap. I don't care if Jake Paul is training like a boxer, doing whatever, if he's on a serious regimen. If he is, then join a boxing league and let's see you versus some kids your age, your size, and let's see you in the ring with actual up-and-coming boxers. Like, if you want to be taken serious.
Yep.
Now, his brother, Logan, I hate him too just as much, probably more, but at least he realized that that side of the sport's not really for him. He does stupid WWE stuff, which WWE sucks now. It was better in the 90s. But
agreed.
Oh, dude, Attitude Era?
Oh, dude.
I used to watch WWE all the time.
Stone Cold?
Dude. JBL when he ran over John Cena with a Crown Vic, it doesn't. The mayor of Knoxville, Kane, now was like in a limo killing Vince McMahon. Like, get out of here! Hulk Hogan punching Vince McMahon in the leg while he's in a hospital bed. I mean, the WWE is not what it is. Now you have people like I Show Speed in a prime drink getting kicked by. I don't care about that crap. It's like crap that you see on Twitter.
RKO'd by Randy Orton.
Again.
Yeah, it's not what it once was.
But I hate Logan Paul. I can't say that enough. But at least he's found his niche of like fake WWE stuff. That's fine. He's not still trying to sell like I'm a real fighter like his brother is.
Yeah. And Logan Paul is a hell of an athlete too. Like, I'll give him that. Like, the dude can do the physical parts of WWE. So I respect that. I mean, Jake Paul might be a great fighter, but we don't know because he's fought old like UFC fighters and like Nate Robinson, the basketball player. Like, nobody takes that seriously. Go fight somebody real.
8 basketball player.
I'd like to watch him. I'd like to watch him fight Rocky Balboa. Honestly, that's a good fight.
He's not real.
Him versus 80-year-old Sylvester Stallone. That's gonna be his next fight. And it's. I mean, I don't know. I think all of that. And again, like you said, Logan is a great athlete, and even back in the day, you can say WWE's fake, WWE is all scripted. What those guys do, whether it's scripted or not, that takes so much athleticism. Like, you're picking up a 300-pound man and throwing him on the ground or letting him land on top of you. Even if it's fake and you know who's going to win or lose, that takes so much. Like, so I can't take away from even the new age WWE stuff. I mean, it's tough for sure.
Let's remember the time that the Undertaker chokeslammed Mick Foley as Mankind off of the Hell in a Cell. Off of the Hell in a Cell.
Dude, the words "hell in the cell" activated neurons in the back of my brain.
And WWE. Those were the days.
Oh yeah, it doesn't get better than that.
Let's
agreed.
Let's start. We won't go because last year we had a full-on prediction and we haven't gotten ahead of it. We're way behind, but right now, looking at the NBA playoffs, it appears to be wide open, aside from the Celtics series, because the Cavs, they don't have Donovan Mitchell.
The Cavs are winning right now.
But are they?
In the third quarter.
That's wild. Well, who do you think right now, if you had to put money on somebody to win it all, who you taking?
The Nuggets. I mean, like, honestly. I mean, like they were back against the wall, down 2-0 against the Timberwolves, and Anthony Edwards, aka Michael Jordan's son, and they've just won 2 games in Minnesota. And they didn't just
Yep.
win them; they kicked the crap out of them. Like they just
Yep.
proved, like, hey, we're the big dogs here. Sorry to the Thunder. I don't even think they're going to get past the Mavericks, to be honest. So I think it's going to be the Nuggets, but I mean, it could be the Celtics, but I have to bank on the fact that the Celtics always choke. See what I was doing there?
Yeah.
The Celtics always choke, and they will at some point. They might choke against the Cavs. They probably wouldn't choke against the Knicks. They might against the Pacers. They got some dogs on that team. The Pacers do.
Yeah.
But I just think the Nuggets are, in my opinion, just the best all-around team, and they've been there. They were there last year. So, but
yeah, I think
Jokic did not deserve to win MVP. Like,
no, it should have been SGA.
I think so, and even Luka ahead of Jokic, to be honest. But it is what it is.
Yeah, I get it because he's like the best player on that team, and like you said, that if I had to put money on somebody, I'd put money on the Nuggets too, because they have the pedigree. They've won it all before. They've exercised those demons last year, and then the Celtics are probably the second best. But if I kind of think that the opposite of what you think as far as the Celtics, I would rather play the Pacers because
Really?
I feel like, yes, I think that the Knicks match up a little bit better because for some reason Josh Hart has turned into like some 5-tool player, but he's a good defensive player. He's a good rebounder. He shot the lights out against the Sixers. Jalen Brunson he's getting that early whistle. He's getting the superstar whistle because he's a superstar.
The Mavericks are so stupid. They're so dumb.
Yeah, they are. You could have just kept him and not paid Kyrie a bunch of money, but whatever. But yeah. I think that I agree. I think that the Mavericks will beat the Thunder, but I think the Thunder definitely, as young as they are, like their starting lineup was younger than the North Carolina, UNC starting lineup, their average age, which is insane.
Yeah.
So they definitely have a bright future, but I think we're looking at a collision course between the Celtics and the Nuggets.
I think so too. Isn't the Knicks team pretty much just like the same team as Villanova that beat North Carolina in the national championship? Or was it later?
Well, they don't have like Archie Diacono, and it was the one that beat Michigan in the championship. So
yeah, it was like
Brunson,
2 years later or something.
DiVincenzo, Brunson, DiVincenzo, Hart, and Josh Hart's a Chelsea fan, so I got love for him.
No, I mean I'm all good with the Knicks, and I guess the way I see it is the Knicks are just a better version of the Cavs. They like to play defense. They have a couple of good offensive stars, but they're very good and sound defensively. And I honestly didn't think the Cavs would win a game against the Celtics. But they're down 2-1 in the series, and they might win a second game. Maybe not. I don't know. But the Knicks are just, in my opinion, a very, very much better version of the Cavs. They play very similar styles. Yeah. The Pacers are one of those teams, to me, they could just get red hot. Like, if they get red hot, you just don't know what could happen. They could beat the Celtics just because they're so dang fast and they score so much. I mean, they just have a good series and they could beat anybody, literally. So, but I think it's going to be chalk at the end of the day. The Celtics are going to get through. They're going to get the title game and probably lose to the Nuggets in 6, to be honest.
You can't see right now, but under this hoodie I'm wearing green. And I'm going with the Celtics all the way. I don't think they're going to lose. I don't think they're going to lose to the Nuggets in 6 in the finals. I don't see that happening.
Well, I hate the Celtics.
I don't see that happening. Let's go Celtics. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, you're right. They win a lot of championships here lately. They've never choked.
I'm not saying that they're. I'm not saying that they're not known for choking. I'm not saying any of that. I'm just saying. I'm going for the Celtics.
I mean,
they're winning right now versus the Cavs, so let's see what happens.
That might be the safest pick, but in my opinion, I think the Nuggets is the safest pick.
That's fine.
Just because they've been really good, for 2 years, and they've won 1 championship out of 2 years. I mean, they're sound.
Yeah.
Like Joker doesn't lose.
Man,
they're good. And Jamal Murray, for some reason, goes crazy in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, let's do the same thing with hockey. So right now, if I had to put money on somebody in the NHL, it would be the Florida Panthers because they have kind of run up run it up on the Bruins. The Bruins took game 1, and they scored 6 goals on them 2 games in a row, and they beat them in a close one last night.
Yeah.
I wish that Connor McDavid would do McJesus stuff and beat Vancouver after they stole a series from the Preds.
Did you see that he had a game? I think it was game 2. He didn't even have a shot on goal. It was the first time in his career that's happened. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's nuts.
The Panthers are hot, dude. Like, they're really hot.
Yeah.
I would sort of lean towards the Rangers. They've only lost 1 game in the playoffs thus far. They're just so good. But I mean, I don't know. Like,
the Rangers have a tough game with Carolina, though, man.
They're up. They're up 3-1.
Oh, they're up 3-1. Damn.
Yeah, they're winning right now.
They're
winning game 5 right now. So, I mean, they're pretty much, if they hold on here, it's the third period. They're up by 1. So if they hold on in that game, they're in the Eastern Conference Finals. So.
That's wild. I didn't see that they were game 3.
They're a wagon. I feel like the winner of the Rangers, like which it looks like it's going to, because the Rangers are up 3-1 and they're up right now, and the Panthers are up 3-1. I feel like the winner of that series between the Panthers and the Rangers is the odds-on favorite, especially with Vegas getting knocked out by Dallas.
Yeah.
I know Dallas is good, but like I just don't think they're good enough to win it all. They might come back and clip this in like a couple months and say you were wrong. But I just think that I'm so glad that the Golden Knights lost Mark Stone faking an injury through the end of the season so they could get around the cap. And oh God, I hate them. I'm so glad they're out. Yeah. But I feel like the Panthers have had a harder path. I mean, I know that the Rangers are playing the Canes, but the Bruins and the Lightning, and if they beat them both 4-1.
You're right, but that's also a couple teams that are aging a little bit. Like they're kind of, both the Lightning and the Bruins went like this, and they're kind of plateauing. I think they're starting to hit that fade down a little bit. But I think the same could honestly be said about the Hurricanes, because like every year it's like the Hurricanes are so good, and they got to the Stanley Cup final. Was it last year? And they lost to, was it Vegas? Was that the Stanley Cup final last year?
No. Who did Vegas? Vegas beat the Panthers last year.
Oh, they beat the Panthers. You're right. But I mean, Carolina's literally almost always like the 1 seed or 2 seed or whatever. They're always really good, but they can't seem to get there.
No, you are
but,
right.
I mean, they're a really, really good team.
They're so good throughout the entire season, and they're fun to watch throughout the entire season. And then come playoff time, they just start falling apart. I don't know what it is, but they'll have a handful of good games during the playoff season, and then
they are the Celtics.
They're the hockey of Celtics.
They are the Celtics.
They really are.
Oh God.
But I'm with you. I don't think the Stars are good enough. I don't even know if they'll get past the Avalanche. I know they're winning the series right now, but the Avalanche are just such an exciting team. Like I could see them getting to the final. I could see the Canucks getting to the final just because, like, I've watched it from as a Predators fan. I watched like every game of that series that I could stay awake for, and the Predators were always the better team, but Vancouver always just found a way to win. And I didn't really see Nashville making that many mistakes. Vancouver just found a way to win. And it's just like, when you have a team like that, what if they start to play good then? They're playing bad, they're winning games. So what if they start playing really good? So I could see them taking it too, honestly.
I hope not, but they might. But yeah, I mean, they stole a couple games from the Preds, especially was it game 4 when we were up like 3-1 and they scored 2 goals.
No,
was it game 3? Dude, that was so stupid. And then we go ahead and win game 5. And we're like, all right, the energy, it's coming back to Nashville. Lost
and then you don't
all
score
3 games in Nashville.
You don't score in game 6.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Well, I mean, I know we're young, and I know the fact that we made the playoffs was a surprise anyway. But like, we were good enough to win that series, and it was hard pill to swallow.
We should have won that series. Like, that's just the bottom line. But
Philip Forsberg, his wife just gave birth to their first child yesterday or the day before. So he's now going to have dad strength. So I think that bodes well for us.
Yeah. Well, he's already got the dad stash too. So he's got that working for him. I can't believe that dude's only like 29 years old.
He does for sure.
Like, how is he only 29?
Because hockey players come into the league so young. I mean,
like he was,
and we stole him.
From who?
Stole him from the Capitals.
Yeah, that's it. He was a stud in the 2017 Stanley Cup Finals. That was 7 years ago.
Mhm.
He's only 29.
That was really his coming out party.
Yeah, it was.
Well, y'all have you got anything else you want to talk about while we're here?
How about Scotty Scheffler?
I mean, he's really
Scotty
good.
Scheffler and Nelly Corda both. Like, come on. That stretch was just ridiculous. He won like 4 out of 5 tournaments in a row, and she won, what, 5 or 6 in a row? Like, that's just wild. How do you get that good at anything? Like, literally anything.
I mean, Scotty Scheffler, I feel like nobody even knew who he was until I think it was the 2020 Masters.
Yeah, he won the Masters in 2021.
It was 2021, and after that, like, he was just on a tear, I feel like. You know what I mean? Watching the Masters this year was exciting. It was fun to watch. It was great to watch. You know, I didn't get to go this year, which I'm a little bummed about. I did get a hat from the Masters, and I got a nice cup that the beer came in from the Masters this year. But
there you go.
But yeah, the Masters.
Steve brought him gifts.
Yeah, Dad did bring me back gifts. But yeah, no, the Masters was good this year. You know,
it was good until Scotty started dominating down the stretch, and then it was like, well, this is because you thought it was going to be an exciting finish. Like, it was tight. There were like 4 people that were tied with like 9 holes left, and then Scotty wins by like 6 strokes.
Here's
like,
the thing.
What the hell?
Yes, Scotty went on a tear, but everyone else around him started falling apart too. Morikawa had like 3 shots in the water on like, I think it was 14 or 15, somewhere around in there. He had like 2 shots that went in the water, and then his recovery drop shots were really bad. And everybody in the leaderboard just started slowly falling apart. And I think what happened there was they had started falling apart. Scotty was far enough back that he saw them doing that, and I think he just knew he needed to turn it back on. He just knew he needed to turn it back on. He really did. I'm glad that John Rahm didn't win. Not a Rahm guy. Not a fan. It's cool, dude. You hit your driver like 400 yards, whatever. I don't care.
I wanted DeChambeau to win, man. I really did. I wanted Bryce.
I'm not a DeChambeau guy either.
Like him, dude. I've been watching him on YouTube a long time. Like, he's just a funny guy.
I really wanted Colin to win. I wanted Colin. I was sitting there cheering for Morikawa so hard.
I feel like Morikawa does this too. Like, he gets all the people who like bet on golf excited. He has a good first, second day, and people are like, "Oh, pour money into Morikawa," and then he just falls apart. It's what he always does.
Dude,
Him and Xander Schauffele, dude. Yeah. Xander Schauffele does. He did the same thing yesterday. Yeah. Well, in his defense, Rory shot like a 7 under back 9.
Yeah,
like just ridiculous.
Hey, wait, no, that's East Tennessee State University Buck commit Rory McIlroy.
Didn't even show up for one class or orientation.
Nope, he didn't. He never actually came.
But he did commit.
He was committed to ETSU.
He was.
Go Bucks.
But yeah, it was still a good tournament to watch throughout the weekend. I mean, like you said, toward the end of the last day, it was kind of a story that was writing itself. It was pretty easy to see what was happening in front of you. But nonetheless, there's still nothing like watching the Masters throughout the whole weekend. And
oh yeah, dude, it's awesome.
And I said this to my dad. I think it's time Tiger just go ahead and call it. I mean,
yeah, I agree.
Dude, when you're like +2 through the 3rd or 2nd day, or even higher than that, and he's already limping a little bit, it's like, I get it, but your legacy is done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you know, pour time into something else. Like, I would love to see Tiger, you know, with his son a little bit more. I'd like to see him playing golf with his son more.
His son can freaking play.
Oh, dude, your Tiger Woods' son. What do you? Oh, his.
I mean, of course he can play, but like, dude could smoke a golf ball. Like,
the day that his son gets a little bit older and starts entering in more serious tournaments, you're gonna see him on Sunday in red. And he's going to be out for blood, and he is going to be the spitting image of his dad, and he's going to be a dog. Yeah. Mark my words on that. He will be a dog.
He plays just like him.
Oh, yeah.
Their mannerisms are the exact same.
Even their facial expressions are the exact same.
Yeah.
Their swing is so similar.
Oh, yeah.
Like, when you watch them next to each other, it's just ridiculous.
Pour your attention into Charlie, because we want to see Charlie replicate what you replicate. Give the next generation what we got as kids.
For sure. Give the next generation another golfer like Tiger Woods that even if you don't watch golf, even if you've never watched golf before, you know who Tiger Woods is. You know, people say Tiger Woods, and someone goes, "Oh, I've never watched golf," but they know exactly who that is. I mean, similar with like Phil Mickelson and you know, people like that. But I don't think there's been, at least in our time, at least, another golfer with the pedigree of Tiger Woods. But I think all he's doing now is hurting his case, and I get it.
Yeah, but I mean, maybe he just wants to play, and I mean, maybe he doesn't care about what it does to his legacy. Because I think in my mind, it's like Tom Brady. His last year, he went 8-9 with the Bucs, lost to the Cowboys in the first round. That didn't tarnish his legacy at all.
Right.
All this stuff the Tiger's doing right now, yeah, he's struggling, but there's reasons why he's struggling. And everybody can look at it and be like, yeah, that his legacy is already cemented. Like, it doesn't matter what he does from here on out.
Well, and it's fair to say that, too, because, I mean, to put yourself in Tiger Woods' position where all of this stuff has happened and you still get the invite to the Masters, you're not going to say, no, I'm not going to come and play.
Right.
You know, you're going to show up. And whether you do good or whether you do terrible, whether you get cut before the weekend, whatever, you know, you're still doing that. But, yeah, I would love to see him pour some more time in Charlie.
I think it's going to take him not making the cut for the weekend to finally hang it up, because he still made it this year.
Yeah.
And I think that might be what it takes.
Yeah.
I think he's maybe waiting for his son to get a little bit older and for his son to be able to, you know, get in some more tournaments and stuff like that. And I think you're going to see Charlie Woods is going to be making some major runs.
Oh, no doubt.
Major runs, dude.
No doubt.
And he'll have sponsorships out the wazoo. He'll have a scholarship to play golf anywhere in the nation that he wants to play golf. I mean, but rightfully so. I mean, he's putting in the time, he's putting in the effort, and he's putting in the hours as a young kid. So,
and he's really dang good. I mean, like,
it's in his blood, man. It's in his blood.
Yeah, it is
in his blood.
It is.
Right.
Well, if you all don't have anything else, we will wrap up this first edition of the Sporadic Sports Podcast. Looking forward to this new chapter. We are actually going to be adding a new member here in the next week or two, and he'll be on here with us, and we'll explain that. But to those of you all who have been riding with us, who have been with us since A Squared, J Squared, who might be, you know, turning over a new leaf with us, tell your friends, follow us. All of our socials have changed at Sporadic Pod. Please follow us there. Share the videos. Tell your friends. Give us a like. If you haven't subscribed, please do that too. But we're excited to be back. We're excited to be making content again, and we hope that everybody who has found their way to this video is excited as well.
Yep. Thank you guys for sticking with us. Thanks for hanging out. I know, like James said, it's been kind of a weird ride the past couple of months and stuff like that. But if you've stuck with us, you've watched some of our content and stuff like that, we definitely appreciate that. The number one thing you can do to help us out is, you know, subscribe, like the video, talk about it with one of your friends. We're going to try soon to get a few more things rolling here. And even though it's called Sporadic, we're going to try to have a little bit better of a schedule back with it again. So just bear with us in the time of transition, because I know this is, you know, a really important thing for James and Jordan to be a part of and be doing. So thank you guys for sticking with us, and it's definitely not the last that you've seen of any of us.
Yeah, and I think we're going to try to keep the rest of the episodes a little shorter than this one. This was more of an inaugural one, see what we can do. But I think we're going to try to put like a 30-minute limit on it, and if you stayed with us to the end of the video, we appreciate you. But yeah, excited to get going.
Absolutely. Well, share with your friends. And if you don't have any friends, make some. And to get us out of here, enjoy the dancing stylings of producer Jared. Thanks for joining us. See you guys.
Peace. What an idiot.